Hello children, welcome to our channel Ammu and You. I'm sure you must have been watching the videos on the channel and I hope you like those videos. As every time I remind you, if you like the videos, please tell your parents to like, share and subscribe and hit the bell icon to get all the notifications of the channel. Right? So let's get going with a new story that Ammu has got for you this week. The story is a beautiful one. Story of The Happy Prince. It's been written by Oscar Wilde. It's a beautiful story of a prince who was very happy. Now we'll see how was this prince so happy. Long time ago, there lived a prince. He was a very kind prince and a very happy prince. He lived in this huge palace. Now, as you would have read, that a palace is a huge place and it has all the luxuries of the world. Excellent rooms, excellent food, so many fleet of servants to serve and every possible luxury that you can think of. So, living in that palace, the prince never had seen any sorrow. He did not know what pain was, what sorrow was. And so, he was a very happy prince. Now, after he lived his tenure, he died, like all kings do. And when he died, then the people of his kingdom built a big statue of their beloved prince and placed it high above the city. They placed it high above the city so that all the people in the city could look at their beloved prince. Everyone loved their prince. Now, from here, the happy prince could look around the whole town. Now, the people of the city had made such a big statue and they had studded it with precious stones. They had put a glowing red ruby in the sword that the prince held. 2 sapphires, blue sapphires as eyes, and there were gold leaves all around the body and the statue to decorate it. They had put so much of effort and design and money to make the statue look beautiful. Look at these gold leaves. They were all studded throughout the statue. The statue looked beautiful and the prince from the statue could see all around. One day, a little swallow flew over the city. He was flying from a long distance and got tired. He thought, let me rest a while. He saw the big statue and he thought, let me rest at its feet and spend the night here, because he did not have the energy to fly further. So then he sat at the feet of the prince and rested there. The night fell, and as the night fell, he was just about to fall asleep when he felt some water droplets falling on his head. He looked around, there wasn't any rain. So what was this? He looked around and he saw that tears were rolling down the prince's eyes. The little swallow was concerned. He looked up and said, "Dear prince, what do I see? Tears streaming down your eyes. Why are you crying? What makes you cry? Please tell me, can I help you in some way?" Now the prince said, "My friend swallow, it is so kind of you to notice and ask me. But actually, from up here, I can see sadness all around. When I was in my palace and alive, I could not see all around. I could not see what was happening in the homes of the people, the subjects. Only I could see my palace inside and the courtiers. And whenever I would go out on a ride in the city, I would see people cheering for me. I never could see what was going on in their homes. But now, when the people have made a statue out of me and have placed me so high above, I can see all around, near and far. And my heart is so sad to see so much of sadness all around." So the little swallow asked, "Why? What did you see, dear prince, that has made you so sad?" "I have seen a little child who is sick and is crying and needs treatment. He needs to go to a doctor. But his mother is so poor, she doesn't have the money to treat her child, to take her child to the doctor. And I feel so sad that being a prince, I am unable to help her." So the swallow said, "Is there something I can do for you?" So he said, "Yes, there is something indeed you can do for me. You can please take out the ruby from the sword that I am holding. Take the ruby and carry it to the mother of that child and give it to her so that she can sell the ruby. And as you know, little swallow, it is precious and she will fetch a lot of money out of it. And then she can go and treat her child." The swallow liked the idea and liked the kindness of the dear prince. She said, "Okay," and took the ruby out of the sword's hilt and flew away, held it in its beak and flew away to the child and the mother. He gave the ruby, he put it in front of the mother and flew back. The mother was very surprised. A swallow coming and dropping a ruby in front. She quickly went to the market, sold the ruby, and the money that she got a lot of money, and she was not poor anymore. And more important, she could take the child to a doctor and get the child treated. The child was fine and the mother was so happy, and she prayed and thanked the swallow for helping her in that terrible crisis. The swallow came back to the prince, and the prince was very happy and said, "Thank you, my dear friend. Because of you, I could help the poor mother and her child." Now, the next day, the swallow came back in the evening again and found the dear prince sad. Said, "What has happened now? What makes you sad again? Now do you know that the little girl is cured, her mother is no more poor. So now what makes you sad?" So he said, Look, far in that small house, I can see a writer. He's been working so hard for days and nights to finish his work, but he has no money. and he's so tired, he has nothing to eat. My heart goes out to him. So, can you help me again, little swallow? So the little swallow said, yes, sure I can, but what can I do now? So he said that take one eye, sapphire from one eye, and go and drop it in front of the writer on his table. He will sell the sapphire, and with the money he can be rich. The swallow was shocked. He said, but dear prince, if I take away that sapphire from your eye, you will be half blind. The prince said, doesn't matter. This writer needs it much more than I do. So the little swallow, though sad and apprehensive, but had to obey the prince, so it took out from the eyes, it took out the sapphire and flew back to the writer and dropped the sapphire on the table. The writer woke up and saw that precious stone lying in front of him. He couldn't believe his eyes. He was working for days and nights to finish his work so that he would get some money out of it. And now he saw that precious stone in front of him. He quickly went to the market, sold it, and got lots of money. And he could happily work on his writing without worrying about the money anymore. He thanked his unknown helper. Now the swallow was very happy for the writer, but sad for the prince. But the prince said, don't be sad for me. I am so happy that I don't mind my losing one eye. Now after a few days, the swallow came back after searching food the whole day and came back in the evening because the swallow had started living there with the prince. The swallow had started loving the prince, and both of them had struck a friendship, and the swallow had started living there with the prince. So when he came back again, saw the prince sad. My dear prince, now what makes you sad, my dear? The prince says, look out there, look at this sweet little girl. She's sobbing so bitterly. She was going to sell a box of matches that her mother had given her, and she stumbled and the matches fell all over and went inside the gutter. She can't pick them back again, and now she's crying because she's scared that her mother would scold her, because the mother had sent her to sell those matchsticks so that they could get some money. Now the swallow said, so what can I do for you, prince? Take away the other sapphire from my eye and go and give it to the little girl. No, prince, I can't do this. What are you saying? You will be completely blind. How will you see? The prince smiled a beautiful smile and said, doesn't matter, my dear friend. Look at that little girl. She's so sad. I don't like to see her so sad. You will be my eyes. You will tell me what is going all around, my dear friend. So please help me. I can't move, so please help me. Take this sapphire and give it to that little girl. So the little sparrow was very sad, but the dear prince somehow convinced it. And the little sparrow very sadly took out the other eye too, the sapphire, and flew and gave it to the little girl. The little girl was overjoyed. She didn't understand the value of that sapphire. She took it back home and gave it to her mother. her mother hugged her and said, "Oh my God, who has given it to you?" The little girl told her the story that she was crying and a sparrow came and dropped it in her hand. The mother folded her hands and looked up and prayed to God and thanked Him. That, "Thank you, God, for helping us in such a manner. Thank you for the helpers, for the little sparrow and the person who has sent the sparrow to help us." And she went to the market and sold the sapphire and got lots of money and was never poor again. But our happy prince became blind. He could not see any more. But he was not sad. He was smiling. The little sparrow sat on his shoulders and said, "My dear friend, my dear prince, henceforth I am going to be your eyes. I will tell you everything that is going around all over the town. And you shall never miss your eyes. I will never leave you." And the sparrow would go around the town the whole day looking for people in need. Come what rain, come what snow, nothing could deter the sparrow from not going, because the sparrow had seen that the happy prince had sacrificed both his eyes just to help the people and make them happy. So the sparrow became so motivated and inspired by the prince's kindness. The sparrow also started going all around every day, and wherever he would see any need or sadness, poverty, what would it do? It would come to the prince and pick out a gold leaf from the statue and go and drop it to that house. Selling the gold leaf, that family also would become rich and wealthy again. Slowly, there were so many those gold leaves all over that they were just not getting over. The swallow kept on distributing those golden leaves to whosoever was sad and whosoever was needy. And the happy prince kept on watching, rather feeling the sparrow do this on his behalf. And every day at night, he would thank the sparrow for what he was doing. So this is how the whole town became rid of poverty. No one was poor anymore. Their lives became enriched, and they kept on thanking and blessing their unseen helpers. They did not know who it was, but they always thanked God and requested Him to bless their unseen helpers, the sparrow and the prince. Now, the happy prince was very happy, always, and so was the swallow. They both of them had understood that real happiness is always making others happy. If I am happy only and I don't know what is going through in others' life all around me, that would not be real happiness. But making others happy, removing the sadness from their lives, is what actually is real happiness. And nothing can be more precious than helping others, caring for others, serving others. We have so many great people who do this. You've heard of Mother Teresa. There have been so many people who were, who are, unknowingly, without even letting others know. They go around making others happy. That is their job which they happily choose to do, and that is why they themselves are always happy. They are never sad. Seeing the smiles, seeing the joy in others' lives, they feel so satisfied and blessed. They thank God that God, thank you for giving me the power to remove the sadness from others' lives. Children, did you like the story? The Happy Prince. What a wonderful prince he was, isn't it? Let's all be like him. Always try to help others as much as you can. Make them happy, and you will see how happy you will feel. Start doing it right now with your friends and with your family. If you've liked the video, what are you supposed to do, children? Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and let our family of Ammu and You keep growing stronger and stronger. Be happy, be safe, till we meet again next week with another story for you. Thank you for listening to the story.